One of the things that I tell my students, because very often they will ask me, do you have an outline? Do you just sort of
Yes,
have it all? I say, no, I abhor outlines.
I do too.
I really don't like them in the screenwriting world either, although it's much more essential ultimately
Yeah.
to have one. But I don't begin that way. When I'm writing a play, and this is something I do tell my students, is write the scenes you want to see. Write the scenes you are just dying to write. Don't worry about where they go or if they even belong in the play, but it will get you writing. And the more you write, the more you will be learning about the play that you're aiming for, even if you don't know it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that to deprive oneself of the pleasure of writing those scenes is foolish. To think that you have to earn it. Well, no, that really maybe wouldn't happen until the second act. Well, write it now and just see what you learn. It could be that it will inform everything that you'd already written. I mean, in the case of Dinner with Friends, for instance, I wrote a scene because I wanted to write this scene. And after I wrote it, I thought, this is where the play should end. And I was way early in the process. And suddenly, not knowing at all where the play would end, I had a destination. It was then a question of how do I get there? But it felt satisfying and it felt right and it pointed the way.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't have known that if I had just sort of postponed, delayed the gratification of writing that scene when I felt at that moment that I had a grasp for what I wanted to say. It only helped articulate everything in retrospect or informed everything that was to come.
That's so wonderful. So I tend to write that way as well. And I love that. And, write the scenes that really speak to me. But I find sometimes I'll paint myself into a corner. It's like, oh shit, how do I get from A to B?
Right.
How do you deal with that?
Well, it could sometimes be that that B is not where you need to go.
Yeah.
I think that there have been experiences in my career of setting out to write something and writing at length and then realizing, no, I'm writing two plays here. I'm trying to get that in when in fact, no, I think that is its own animal. That is not this one. And I cut a lot. I learned pretty early on that when you cut, it's not gone forever. You're not destroying it. You're just putting it away. In fact, to this day, Luke, I have a final draft file that's called outtakes, where I'll overwrite, and then I'll begin to edit, and I will just cut and paste into an outtakes file sections that I'm losing that I could then refer to and say, gee, maybe I was knife happy there and I shouldn't have cut that. But it's still there.
Do you ever use any of those sections in other plays? Maybe go back and retool them? And
maybe not so much. I can't say that I do, actually. But sometimes I'll extract a line. Yeah, I could do something with that. Or so it's always there, and and I think that relieves the preciousness of the whole experience. Right. The other thing that I do is that at the header of a draft, it says bad rough draft. So every page says bad rough draft. And, it's just a reminder to myself, this is not going into rehearsal next week. I don't have to worry about the New York Times. I'm just writing right now. And, to just dub it a bad rough draft is a kind of permission I give myself to just overwrite. And I do. Yeah.